Retail Week is brought to you by Nutrisphere N, Nitrogen Fertilizer Manager, protecting your nitrogen from all three forms of loss.
Welcome again to another edition of Crop Life Retail Week. I'm Eric Sfiligoj, editor of Crop Life Magazine, here this week with Dan Jacobs, editor of Agrobusiness Global. Paul Shrimp, my usual partner in crime, is on the road this week, but he should be back next week. But Dan, thanks for sitting in with us this week. Glad to have you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
A couple of things to go over that we've missed the last few weeks. Back about a year ago, we had a report that John Deere was going to be buying the precision planting equipment line from Monsanto. Actually, and shortly thereafter, the Department of Justice came out saying that it was going to oppose the deal on competitive grounds. I know that John Deere and Monsanto were both preparing legal documents to actually say why that deal was going to be a good thing and that the U.S. government shouldn't get involved and step in the way. But lo and behold, May 1st, we found out that Monsanto has decided to not go forward with the deal. I know John Deere's John May, president of their ag group, said he was deeply disappointed in that decision. But for those who've been following the marketplace with the mergers and acquisitions going on in crop protection, it looks like Monsanto is erring on the side of not fighting the U.S. government with the Deere deal and is deciding instead to put all its eggs in one basket going towards the merger with Bayer. So that's what we have on that front when it comes to mergers and acquisitions. But Dan, you've got a couple of things to share with us about what's going on in China and also mergers on the international front.
Definitely, yeah. Not surprisingly, when you're talking international and crop protection, China comes up quite a bit. So there's a couple of things. One, as it relates to sourcing, China for a couple of years now has been working on improving their environmental outlook, getting these companies that have not been necessarily the most responsible companies to clean up their act. And for a lot of them, that means they can't, and they've been closing down. Combine that with India's Make in India program and also the mergers, and you have this confluence of factors that is really contributing to the sourcing issues, sourcing concerns for some smaller companies, particularly in India, that have traditionally gotten a lot of their supply from China, now will not be able to because of the Make in India program. So it could really have some interesting implications. It's actually what we're going to be talking about in our upcoming issue. So for any of our international viewers, make sure you pay attention to that.
Okay, and also you have some news, I guess, might be important to the U.S. companies regarding China.
Definitely. Just recently, as part of the U.S.-China Comprehensive Economic Dialogue, China has agreed to a 100-day program, a 100-day review, where they're going to look at 8 different biotechnology products within that 100 days and consider them for fast-tracking them into use in China. That certainly caught the attention of a lot of U.S. companies, including a comment from Tim Hassinger from Dow AgroSciences, who said, "We applaud these cooperative efforts under the 100-day action plan and urge the governments to ensure fulfillment of the commitments made related to agricultural biotechnology." So that certainly could have a lot of nice implications for some U.S. companies.
It'll be interesting to see come September what happens then if the 100-day time frame sticks. We stay on that 100-day time frame. So
Definitely.
So very good. Now we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about our Environmental Respect program.
Over the 9+ years, they've done over 400 trials, side-by-side replicated trials, and we've shown that 90% of the time we've had a positive yield response with Nutrisphere. So 90% of the time a crop producer out of those 400+ trials could expect a positive response. That positive response is average 10 bushel an acre across all 400+ trials.
Well, welcome back. As I said, Environmental Respect Awards are something that we've done here at Crop Life and ABG magazines for the past 20-some years. It's a program that honors ag retailers around the globe that are going above and beyond when it comes to environmental stewardship. I know I myself have visited a few facilities, and Dan, you can tell us a little bit about the international part of that program, if you could.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really fascinating to see what companies from different parts of the world are doing in terms of our environmental respect. Certainly, different countries, different regions of the world have different standards. But what's interesting, what unites all these companies is their desire to really improve not just their own companies, what they're doing within them, but within the communities around them. And it's really fascinating to go through their applications, and then when we are able to go to Wilmington for the awards program to actually talk to some of these international companies and see what they're doing and the amount of passion they have for environmental respect. It's really rewarding to watch.
Very good. So yeah, be watching Crop Life Magazine and Agribusiness Global Magazine with our July editions. We'll have a special outsert that'll talk all about the Environmental Respect Program. So that's all we have for this week. We'll see you again real soon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you to this week's video sponsor, Nutrisphere N Fertilizer Manager from Verdesian Life Sciences.